Gaming. It's Wednesday, and maybe by now you know what that means. That means it's time for Trustless Degens. That was almost like a superhero intro. This is the show where we talk about cryptocurrency, Web3, DeFi, all those fun buzzwords. You're joined by your host, me, Smurf, Rex Satoshi, to my immediate to the left, and then Eric Wilson, the far left, next to our list of topics, which
I
may
think
or may
last
not
week
be
I
out of
was
range.
far right.
Oh yeah,
Or wait.
sometimes we might have to bounce. We'll figure out what works best for us over time. That's the thing about the show. This shows it's a development in progress. We're making it better each week that we do this thing. We feel like what's most important is that we come on here with some gentlemen of like mind but varying opinions and whatnot, and we talk about Web3 things, cryptocurrency, blockchain related things, all the fun new financial things happening in our world. And that includes some games too. But yeah, this is the show for that. So if you're joining us today, thank you. Welcome. Today, for general topics, before we jump in, we will be talking about the DXY, the FOMC. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of acronyms. FOMC, DEFI. Just it's DeFi, NFTs, all of these things are on today's docket. Can you say docket for that? I don't know if that makes sense. Whatever, they're on today's list. Yeah. Okay. Great. I had it.
I think that's a little bit too professional for what we got going on.
That might have been the issue. But yeah, our first topic up on. Well, first let me let you guys introduce yourselves. Let me stop talking so much. You guys want to do quick introductions?
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Rex Satoshi here. I'm just trying to find the next best thing in DeFi, just like last week. What about you, Eric?
That's all you got?
Yeah, short and sweet.
I'm Eric Wilson. And just hanging out with some friends. We're talking DGen shit, and you ain't got to trust us, but check the protocol.
Yeah, that was elegant. That was nice. And I am Smurf, resident DGen, turned to the dark side, as I recently talked to somebody else in the DeFi space this week, where I was like, I've turned to the dark side. We're now working. That's the dark side in DGen space. Whatever. I do all the blockchain things from gaming to whatever else. I just like to stay on top of it. And so first up, our topic of the day is the FOMC Meeting. Did you guys hear anything about this today?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really?
I did.
So, Rex Satoshi, you do? So what was your opinion?
It's making the market dumpy as shit right now.
Making the market dumpy. For anybody who doesn't know, the FOMC meeting is like the Federal Reserve meeting, where it's not always monthly. I think like at some points of the year they do like almost like a monthly type of meeting, and other points of the year it's a little bit more scattered. Their last one that they had was it end of July or was it early August? It was something like that.
It was August.
Yeah, and they've had a little bit more than like a month off though. It's been about July. A month. Okay, it was July. Yeah, they've had about a month and a half off. And any time that they do meet, markets get a little volatile, typically because people are, there's psychological feelings about things, and so you can usually count on that. And so the fun thing was, if you were looking at the charts today, right around 2 p.m. Eastern is when they got volatile. About 2:40, 2:30, 2:45, which is right around the time the meeting was wrapping up. So it's pretty funny that happened that way. Like you got a big spike up with like around the start of the meeting and stuff, and then you got like it just went down and stuff. So people like to say, "Oh, it doesn't matter," but it's like, I mean, buy the rumor, sell the news, and it might not be your indicator, but it still can be somewhat of an indicator. But yeah, Brett, your opinion is it's kind of dumpy. Yeah, Eric didn't know about this happening, which is fine. I mean, it takes a while before you got to be like, oh, that's a thing that I should pay attention to. Like,
listen, man, I've been out of the loop. My access to information has been pretty limited lately. You step out for a couple days, man, and it's like the world changes. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that.
I think that plus the news of I think Vladimir Putin
Mm.
was like telling like 30,000 Russians that they should be on standby to go to war in Ukraine.
Yeah, that's
And then
crazy.
like the flights out sold out. The flights out of Russia sold
Instantly. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean,
out. But I
like,
mean, realistically, how many flights are there really? You know what I mean? They can't have that many flights.
oh my goodness. I don't know their airport situation. I really don't. But who knows? It's like, yeah, I'm sure they're not all going to America, but maybe some other European countries. I have no idea. But yeah, I think
I'm just thinking of Homer running into the church sanctuary.
Oh my god.
I should have never taught him that word. Sorry, carry on.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I think overall, it's been a week of some turmoil, a little turbulence, if you will. We're talking flight. We were just talking about flying to different countries, but what goes up, what goes down must go up. So I think it's just all part of the market cycle, regardless. The one thing that I do feel like from this Fed meeting that I feel like never really gets its points, if you will. It's I'm just gonna go with points for now. I'm not finding the most eloquent wording for it. But it's respect is Jerome Powell's, and I know say something similar in most meetings, but it wasn't necessarily like their delivery of how they were trying to treat the economy was a bad delivery. I feel like people were gonna write it up to be however they wanted it to be to create a narrative and story about that, but I don't know. I feel like it was actually a well-delivered message where they're kind of just talking about, like this is what's happening right now. We've been saying for the last month that this was going to be the case. It happened to be the case. We're not printing the money. We're trying to make it tight. We don't want to crash things. These are our projections. And
they
so
be lying, bro.
They do be lying, but at this point, it's like. This one specifically sound the most honest of them all, where I'm like, this seems accurate. Like they're like, yeah, it's probably going to be kind of tough until like 2025. Like by 2025 we start to get back around that 2% or so. Well, and I'm like,
let's be honest, we got a pendulum swinging pretty wildly right now, and you can look at any crypto chart and see you can be pretty level for a while, and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of volatility. We're achieving volatility in nearly every market of the ecosystem right now. In all different facets of our life. A lot of things have been disrupted, man. It's going to take a minute for that to reach any sort of equilibrium.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe that they give a shit about inflation at all. I don't believe it.
I mean, I think they do. I think they want to make more money, and you can't you can't continue to make money if you have a market that falls apart.
They don't care because they just make the money, bro. Like, it's bullshit. They don't have to make it. They don't have to like work for their money. They just have to like be like, okay, let me push a couple buttons over here, a couple buttons over there, say this on TV, and I just made a bunch of money.
No argument.
But I'm like, and I hear that side of things, but at the same time, I'm like, but if that's your strategy to making a lot of playing devil's advocate, if that's your strategy to making a lot of money, right? Then the last thing that you want is for this house of cards to fall. Like you can let it sway in the wind and whatever. You can play all the little tricks that you want, but you want it to stay up so that you can keep making money under that system that you've created. If it gets too bad and the money just gets totally devalued and worthless, then they lost their own game. They created a game of rules and like they just ruined it. And then they're out of the game. Just like everybody else. They're like, dang, okay, greed actually got to me. I totally messed up. And so I think they're trying to they do play that game. I feel like there is some of that game being played, but I think even if you're playing the game, you gotta be able to center things. Otherwise, have some balance with it. How else do you keep the wool over somebody's eyes?
I feel like if they don't print money, then the banks are pointless. Like if you're not giving money, if you're not loaning money to people, what's your point in being a bank? Now I understand you're holding money for people, but they don't make money by just keeping our money. They make money by having interest on loans and stuff. It's just like they have to lend money
in investments and people, in people that are going to pay it back.
It's
And isn't
capitalist.
it funny how we're kind of like intertwining between crypto and just life, just like seamlessly as we're having this conversation. And like for me, man, it's it everything happens in crypto so quickly, and we can really learn so much from crypto and ecosystems, and I've said it before, governance and stuff. And you see all this volatility, and like we're gonna figure it out, man. We're gonna figure it out how to leverage this stuff. And I'm excited, man. I definitely think that stuff's gonna overtake traditional banking.
Oh man,
as it gets user friendly, and as it just these little it's like the missing link, right? The missing link keeps getting, every time we figure out what's in the middle, it's like, oh well, what about this? And I feel that way with crypto and acceptance, right? Every single time we like bridge the gap, it's like, well, there's not quite a bridge here. Oh, okay, so we build it. Oh well, it's still kind of hard to jump over here. So then we just keep filling those gaps to where eventually I think it's just going to keep getting easier. I feel that with traditional banking, and they're going to have to make the merge, man. They're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, no, definitely feel that. We got something funny on the list. I don't want to jump too far down the list, but we do have something on the list for that coming up, which is like another foray into that. There's plenty that I could be mentioning because other than like, we talked about Compound a little last week and their processing for institutions, and then there was like Charles Schwab and Fidelity, two of the other largest banks in America, jumping into things. There was another like institutional level thing that happened this week, which I'm now forgetting. But that's okay, because this other news that I feel like was not really mentioned at all. I didn't see it really very much today. It's pretty big news. But before we get into that, we are going to get into this next topic, which is the DXY. And so this is going to be a really quick topic. Are either of you guys familiar about the DXY? I'm like, just like this is a good thing.
Nope.
You guys know DXY?
No, sir.
I am pretty familiar. It's a index of the value of the dollar against the other global currencies.
Yes, sir. That be it. It is exactly what you just said. So basically, the DXY is a way for you to gauge the strength of the United States dollar. And so this is on a day chart. This is 5 days.
Okay, how's that look in comparison to other things?
Yeah, exactly, right? So here, I'll actually, we can go to, I like going to Nomics, so mix it up, guys. It's not all about CoinGecko. But
I like CoinGecko.
I like CoinGecko too. There's nothing, I just like Nomics too, because CoinGecko was hating on Hex when Hex was like really balling out, and I feel like,
you're about to bring us some Hex.
Hex, yeah. Hex, yeah.
Hex,
you're about to bring up some Hex.
Hex, yeah. Look at that Bitcoin dropping. God damn.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so check this out. You say, how is this pair up against other things? I'm not gonna put them side by side just because I don't have the screen set up for like that type of momentum. But on the 1 week, which would be like the 5 day, right? Bitcoin down so it's down and to the right? And the DXY
down and to the right,
up and to the right. No, they're pretty much inverse of each other. That's pretty much how it works out. Where you can get some Bitcoin action to happen and still go upward when the DXY is going up, but usually it's when the DXY is going more sideways that you'll see that upward momentum in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And the same thing, the same thing can be said for it's not just crypto. It's also for whatchamacallit, the S&P, so stocks. So it's the exact same thing for stocks. So 1 month DXY, look at the DXY is going bullish. Same thing, boof. And then we could also look at the S&P.
Interesting, yeah. I feel like you could flip that and it'd be pretty close.
S&P, 1 month, boom.
Interesting.
Boom. It's like almost the exact opposite. S&P, they're following it that much closer. Like, honestly, with this dip. So, yeah, if you've never used the DXY as an indicator, it's an interesting one to go with. Because, again, it's showing the strength of the United States dollar. And what that means, basically, is that as investors, people have more belief in the dollar. And so maybe they're taking up bonds or whatever the heck. But they just have more belief in the dollar at the time. The dollar's got more strength, more reason to. At this time, it's for the exact same reason. Like, if we went back in COVID, I used to be on this thing. But we went back to, like, COVID times, 3 years. Give me 3 years. It's not even, is it in 20? Yeah. We were, down playing around with this type of stuff. It was like, 90. And this is this is kind of normal. like this range right here is kind of normal, but then we like started. I swear there's some days like in the 80 or whatever hex, but it was just down there. It's down in the dumps comparatively to pulling this out to all time. This all time high. All time high. The funny thing is, like, I feel like after Biden, it like actually started to turn around. And so
it looks like it.
Yeah, like it's like actually like this, like, and it's funny because you know, I'm sure like everybody's the administration's not really doing anything like that. But during this period of time, we have had more solid monetary policy in terms of keeping America a superpower with our economy because our dollar's up. The euro is down to like an all-time low versus the dollar. If people didn't know that, it's like it's crazy. The dollar's just been ridiculously strong. We haven't seen the dollar this strong since like you got to go. Rec was saying it before the show. You got to go back to like 2007 or something like.
To 2003.
How's that ruble? How's that ruble?
Ruble's probably actually not that bad. I'm sure it's like maybe I don't know about with the recent news though, right? So let's see.
I want to see the 1 year ruble. Is what
1 year, yeah. 1 year ruble. So here we had that little dip, and then I'm like it's kind of
they're doing better than before the war, but it's also a lot of protective.
They did a lot of
protective policies of reducing the ability for people to take money outside the country, from my understanding, right?
Yeah, it was that. They did like some gold pegging type stuff. Also, they really changed up their.
Dirty to me, daddy.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But they did some interesting stuff. I was like, oh, for like an economic side of things, they did some stuff like what's worked in the past to like make currencies more sound, and like I'm like, okay, wow, well we know like, and that's the thing though, because from one side of things, we could be like, it didn't affect Russia the way we wanted it to, which hiss. At the other side of things, we do know, and like I'm sure the Fed is paying attention to stuff like this, that like, if worse comes to worse, we can apply some type of monetary policy similar to this type of stuff, and it will shoot us way the heck up. So, which also that gives another argument for that, which is if you know that somebody can do these type of pegs and whatever the heck and make their economy rise that much.
Listen, man, I hate to bring it up. I hate to be the one to bring it up, but I just think that we just have not put enough Ukraine flags in our profiles on Twitter.
Oh my god!
Can we admit that we failed on that, bro?
We're not woke enough.
No. I haven't been. What was it? It's called woke. I haven't been woked since 2000. I don't know, before the 20s, before people co-opted it and made it. Long. Yeah, I've been sleeping since everybody else woke up. Everybody else decided they were woke, and I went right to sleep.
The wheel of time, full circle. I took
the big snore at that time. Too many people decided to be that.
When too many people are woke, it's not cool to be woke anymore.
Yeah, no.
I'm too much of a contrarian, man.
Oh my god.
I'm going back to sleep.
Let me keep this show moving. We got another article that I want to cover today, which was BTC and the NASDAQ. Did you guys hear anything about this news? BTC and the NASDAQ?
Yeah, like years ago when they started talking about BACT, and now all of a sudden they're not talking about that shit anymore.
Oh, it's more than that now. Here, let me pop it up on screen. And we have this button right here. Got a little button for us. Yeah, so this is all of 2 days ago being reported. This is actually from the NASDAQ website, I guess. Wow, look at that. That was the image that I saw for it. NASDAQ to launch institutional Bitcoin and crypto custody services. So just a little bit more legitimacy to cryptocurrency. Like, again, last week we saw Charles Schwab and Fidelity. DeFi didn't actually fail. There's a few CeFi people that got too risky with it that failed. And I feel like that was a good case study for DeFi to be like, it actually ended up working. We had some people that tried to do some bad stuff and it didn't work out for them, but the protocols themselves worked and still have billions of dollars in them. This week we're seeing NASDAQ, launching this for Bitcoin crypto custody services for institutions. So Bitcoin entering the stock exchange, the biggest stock exchange. I don't think there's another one bigger than NASDAQ, but correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not the biggest stock guy. But it's a big deal, regardless. It's a big deal. What are you guys' opinions on this? Start with Mr. Wilson. If we can start with you this time, I guess.
So, I guess, without reading it, like, what exactly are they? They're doing the custodial service, so like they're offering some sort of like Coinbase service, exchange service.
Yeah. It's so basically, I mean, like, yeah.
I mean, any.
Go ahead.
Just knee jerk is anything that legitimizes it, right? And that's what a lot of people were fighting for a long time is legitimacy, and now they can't deny it. Now it's like you just like I was saying earlier, the banks kind of have to adjust. Isn't that when you're dealing with the majority of the people that they're dealing with who have some sort of crypto exposure, you got to start offering services like this, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely reassuring that we're in that portion of crypto, but why the hell is it only 18,000 then?
To me, it seems like they're really like ramping a lot of this stuff up now that the market has crashed. Like they're big brains. They don't want to get in when at the top of the market.
Okay.
So, of course, they're gonna try to get in where they fit in and get in.
Good point.
At a good price,
Good point.
True that. Yeah, I feel like people like Robert Kiyosaki have been talking about stuff like this for a long time. They're like, yeah, wait till Bitcoin, if it backs up to 27,000, I'll start like looking at it. If it backs up to 21,000, oh, I might back the truck up. If it goes lower, then I'm just gonna, it's like time to like sell asset. And they say things like this, and I'm like, that's pretty big money talking about it like that. We're seeing a lot of partnerships being formed. The Disney partnership, all these big, huge, if it's not, I mean, well, those are institutions. All these big partnerships forming, regardless of the price going down. And it seems like, yeah, they believe something's here to stay. Also, something that I don't really have on the list, but I'll mention it really quickly, is that we had So Rare during the last bull market. And this time around, well, we're still in the bear, but the NBA is basically So Rare partner with the NBA, so they have like a fantasy, basically using the NBA though. So I'm actually down for that. I'm like, oh, I can't wait because it'll be starting this year. So they said it'll be ready by the time the season starts. And I imagine if this is successful, then they'll probably move on to the NFL next year, and that'll like perfect. Yeah. So
like, excited. There's going to be some sort of like NFTs with the fantasy or something like that, or
are you familiar with So Rare? It's like a team management of like fantasy.
Oh no.
Yeah. So they do soccer already though. So it's been big for like the FIFA scene. Like if you were like I remember tapping my buddy early on in NFTs and being like, yo, I don't really know soccer like that, but I know you be waking up early to watch it. You should jump on this stuff.
Okay. And did he listen to you?
He started mining Ethereum. And he started doing it much earlier than everybody else, but he did not jump on the thing. I think he would have done great if he'd have bought, because like at the time the NFTs were So Rare, were super cheap too. So I think he'd have done much better if he actually jumped into it. I just didn't understand the players. So I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna know who. Like, I can do tons of research on these players, but let's be real. Like, I would rather pay him money to play the game at that point, right?
For the same reason that I got into Axie would be the same reason that I would like to play some sort of team management game. I used to play Madden, dude, and like never play the games. I would just draft and do free agency, and like the team management shit like scratches that part of my brain, dude. So like I could see how something like that could really take off. I can relate to something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, man. Like I fucking cannot stand fantasy football. Like it's so stressful to me. You got to worry about your players getting injured. You got to draft different players every year. I think it's fucking awesome that you can like draft players and kind of like possibly keep them for the next season, and you can probably like sell them for if you're this player, you get sick of them, or you were mad that they got traded to a different team, you can fucking sell the card that you got. Man, that sounds awesome to me. It's kind of like you're your own team, like you said, you're your own team manager.
Yeah.
So I think that's valuable. I think that makes fantasy more valuable, more fun, and I would definitely look into playing it over regular fantasy.
I was I was thinking about it earlier, but I kind of forgot to mention it. But as far as with wallets, man, like kids, like how far are we away from kids just being having a MetaMask wallet connected to their phone number or something, or a phone number being, you know what I mean, connected to some sort of crypto wallet and that you carry with you like a phone number. And then it's normal for the kids to just be managing all this different like NFT and crypto and fantasy stuff from their wallet. Like, how far are we from that, dude? I don't think we're in the same way in Africa and areas where they're underserved with banking and they're just so used to banking with their phone through SMS. You know what I'm saying? Not even like regular like websites and blah blah, but just with SMS. And that's why they're like adopting crypto at such a high rate. They're already used to trading money with their phone in a way that we're not even used to.
Yeah, I was listening to a report about some of the I think the Latin American countries, and about how one of their presidents who's running for re-election is basically using one of the programs where people can send money through their phone back and forth, and how he's using that to run on in his campaign. And that's something that we don't really have over here, as far as the government's not pushing like Cash App or Venmo or anything like that. But it's just like they're getting ready to do that Fed Now thing, which is going to be interesting to watch that roll out. But I think maybe the next 3 to 4 years, like maybe by the next bull run, maybe we'll get some of that stuff. Like it's just like it's gonna have to be something that's either like there was in the Epic Game Store, they put the first crypto game in their game store. I forgot what it was exactly. I feel like it's gonna have to be something that's either crazy entertaining,
not like Ghost Recon back in the that first attempt. Not that, like something recent, you mean? Or
yeah, something recent. I want to say it was Blanco's Block Party.
Oh, the Blanco.
That's in the Epic Store now. And,
it's a good one.
It's a good one because I want to say your wallet on Blancos is connected to your email address. It's kind of like the EOSIO thing, where kind of like Wax, where your email is linked to your wallet, kind of.
Yeah, Blancos is a good one because like they do like it's more like tradable skins and stuff like that, where it's not so much about the earning tokens or something like that, play to earn in terms of tokens that you then, it's more so, which I feel like also, I always say Gods Unchained, I feel like Gods Unchained also has going for it where they are doing some token stuff, but like the real thing is you want the cards more than anything else so that you can do things. But yeah, I feel like Blancos is great for that because it's like it's that skin swapping that people kind of want to be able to do, and trying that stuff out.
Nobody wants to feel like anybody can just come in and beat them with money. And we in the early days of play to earn, that's definitely the leverage. Is if you're an early adopter, you're going to have that later advantage in the game. But if that's not a sustainable, you gotta lead people into that game with a carrot of some sort. But ultimately, it's artificially inflating the economy. People aren't going to stick around and keep playing that game if they don't feel they have a realistic opportunity to grind forward. Man, that's just facts.
True,
in my opinion.
True. Because we have plenty to get through, so I'm going to keep it moving. That was our divergence from the topic that started at BTC NASDAQ.
We're good at that.
We are good at that. We are expert level going down the rabbit hole to different interests. So yeah, that's the type of conversation you can expect to happen. Our next topic, though, is a fun one. Swift. Are either of you familiar with Swift? I'll just leave that as an open question first. Swift, in terms of banking?
It's old, like the fossil fuel of payment of remittance services. It's like a really old way to send money around the world, basically.
Yeah, it's and that's ding 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 ding. I need like a sound thing. That's pretty much it. That's the current system for sending money around the world. When banks are sending things internationally to whatever, wiring stuff, like they're using the Swift system, basically. And so let's look at this article here. We have this
trash.
Lovely topic about Swift. Well, yes, I would agree. Trash. And this is how they make so much money. Like when you can hold millions of dollars for like a certain amount of time and you get whatever percentage of it. It's just like you kind of have like a stranglehold over things and you just make money for like doing your weird rules. Actually, we won't send it right now. We'll hold it overnight. And if we hold it overnight, that means we get some like weird, whatever. You made the rules. Regardless, what we have here is Swift and Symbiont announce corporate data blockchain pilot. So this is
the worst fucking title I've ever seen.
Just last week, though, I was mentioning something like this where I was like, we were talking about CBDCs, and I was like, well, the evolution of money, whether or not they choose, like, if they want to like talk about Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever they want to do,
Not even capitalized.
technologically, like we already use digital currencies and stuff. So like technologically speaking, you would want to, you're going to follow the evolution of money, which is blockchain. Like if you're especially if you're a government, like if you're a government and you don't want to be able to efficiently as possible track things, then it's like, you're kind of failing at your job at that point. Then
that's not the problem. They don't want us to be able to track it. They are fine with it's whatever. We'll find the money eventually. They don't want us to be able to look and see what they're doing with this fucking value of money, because we do pay taxes. They don't want us to feel like they're ripping us off. So they're like, we'll make this corporate private data blockchain bullshit so that we can see what's going on, but you guys won't.
Quite possibly. Yeah, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if certain portions of this are like, private or whatever. You can't see all the transaction, what's happening on it. Again, I think it's a situation of them just utilizing the evolution of technology. Like in terms of utilizing efficient technology, like they can say as many negative things as they want about blockchain and cryptocurrency, because they have been. And then look where we are, where they're like, you know what? Actually, let's do a pilot of that stuff. We were saying it was so bad in the environment and all this crazy stuff. Because like all these arguments,
blockchain.
This is real. And now they're like, you know what? The biggest banking system in the world, like is your direct let me get ahead of that blockchain. Oh my goodness! Yeah, so
just a little bit.
I'm gonna taste of that. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Any final comments on this move, which I think is quite the interesting move?
Nope.
Man,
we're good. That's
like
interesting.
It's about time they show up to the party.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone's trying to pile in now that the market's not blowing off.
Admit you were wrong.
let's capitulate now while no one's looking and start getting in on the shit.
Feels that. Well, moving on to our next topic off of Swift, is this new narrative that's been going around the crypto Web3 space, which is Ultrasound Money. Have you guys heard of this Ultrasound Money narrative? It's been making waves recently.
Yeah, you're making me feel like such a noob, man.
It's okay. It's like it's part of my job. Like it's actually like my job now to like make sure I'm in this stuff. So
for real, I appreciate it, bro.
So,
dude, for me, I just hear all this shit and I'll just keep seeing it. I'm like, eventually I'll look it up, or eventually someone will tell me what it means. I'm just like, yeah, I've heard it several. It's a fucking buzzword, is what it is. It's just like all these fucking buzzwords that they throw around, and you're like, you don't really need to know what they mean until you do. But it is good to know what those buzzwords are sometimes, because if you get it, like you said, with like play to earn, if you find the buzzword early enough and you follow the buzzword, it becomes like a narrative. Then that's when you can make a lot of money.
Yeah,
not financial advice.
Yeah, not financial advice, but yeah, it's staying ahead of the pack, and catching things before. I was wearing skinny their bell bottoms before they were cool, guys. Like that type of, you square at first, but then all of a sudden it's cool, and that's just how the waves go. But let me pop this up on screen for you guys and give a little rundown of this new narrative. Ultrasound Money. I'm actually using a website which you can use. This has been a pretty, I want to call, famous website recently in terms of crypto Twitter and Web3 communities. It's called ultrasound.money. And the idea behind this is just that Ethereum equals ultrasound money. Yeah, it's that vein. Huge ego Ethereum. But Ethereum equals ultrasound money after the merge. And so it's just this concept that ultrasound money would be money that kind of, is managing itself, and it has these mechanisms, kind of like how we have the quantitative easing and quantitative tightening in our current basically how we do monetary policy across the globe right now. That's like the latest new since the early 2000s or whatever have you. And this is the new for blockchain. It's this ultrasound money narrative from Ethereum. And so, to be disproven or not, but the merge equals ultrasound money, and that's just that so much use of the Ethereum blockchain leads to it becoming deflationary. And when there's less use of the Ethereum blockchain, it continues to be inflationary. And so they have all these wonderful charts that kind of break down this information for you on this Ultrasound.money website. Not that you need to use this to understand the concept of it, but it's just nice to see things kind of worked out. So here we have this actually used to look way crazier. You can't really see it as well right now, but this is the chart for Ethereum's inflation rate before the merge. So at this line here is where the merge happened. If you guys haven't seen this before, it's not really all the way in the picture anymore, but as you can see, this is pretty dang steep. And so the inflation rate was that steep. It would have been keep going up like this. It would have just pretty much going almost straight up. And since the merge, it went deflationary for a little bit, and then went up, and then deflationary a little bit, and then went up, and then you get a little deflate, and then up. But it's changed the projection. And so now, instead of without knowing the exact numbers, it's something like 5 digits of Ethereum or something like that produced prior, and now we're down about 90% or so as far as how much is produced per day in Ethereum. And so per year, that's an inflation rate of almost 0.2% per year in Ethereum, which is a big deduction. So this is why they're calling it the case for Ultrasound Money. Here on the left, you can see how much Ethereum has been produced since the merge. So again, it's deflationary, but then it's also inflating. So we got 4,000 since the merge, and you can push this button here, simulate proof of work, and we can see Ethereum in its proof of work state where it would have been. You can see where Bitcoin is, and then you can see Ethereum now that it is proof of stake. So 0.2.
Oh, wow.
3.78 in terms of yearly inflation. Bitcoin 1.72. So this is a really cool website, and there's more really cool things on this website as you go down.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this website is about helping with that narrative. They even have this really cool section is it at the bottom? There's a part of this website where you can it's join the fam, where you can see other people on crypto Twitter. Sassel's at the top of it. Lol. This guy is like an ETH maniac.
How has the gas fees been since the merge?
If they're over 15 GUI, then Ethereum is so that would be a little bit more expensive than Ethereum's deflationary. So the gas fees have actually been pretty cheap, which is why it's been more inflationary.
So it's just really responsive to the economics of it.
Yeah, here's the gas market information you were asking to this. Yeah, so average GUI has been about 5, and it needs to hit 15 GUI, so it'll be a little bit more expensive.
What I see that I saw that at $1.25 at 5, right? Something like that. What would 15 be?
Wait, you said $1.25 at 5?
Yeah, on the top of the page it says 5 GUI was $1.25.
Oh, is that how much it costs? Okay.
So three almost $4 for the max. So maybe smart contracts would be like 20?
Yes, potentially.
Something like that.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
But yep. Go with it. No, that does sound about right. Just freeballing these numbers that does sound about right. But yeah, this is just the narrative for Ultrasound Money. I'm happy to bring it to you guys.
Wow. Okay. Cool, man. So is this a more sound? Are they trying to make the claim that they're more sound money than Bitcoin now?
That is partially why you're seeing so much FUD go around from the Bitcoin maximalists, because Ethereum Maxis, I don't know what they call themselves, but I forget. There's all these different names, but that they've been going around with this narrative that no, Ethereum is ultrasound money, because Bitcoin people are always like Bitcoin is sound money, right? Mm-hmm. And now Ethereum Maxis are like Ethereum is ultrasound money.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
And so now you got all these Bitcoin maximalists that are coming at them. They shouldn't be coming at them for it like that, but now they're like, oh, this and that. And the funny thing is that the Ethereum maximalists have been churning folks up. There was this good, because this is kind of the time that I want to jump on anything merge related and seeing things after the merge, which that's a good amount of detail about the merge stuff, guys. Again, ultrasound.money is where you want to go to get all this information.
Do you have show notes?
I usually put them in sources. and I need to use that doc, but I'll have all these links. I'll put all these links in.
I will. I'll start adding those to my like my Hive post and stuff like that. All the show notes, what we talked through.
Yeah,
that I think that's really valuable because some people might be listening just kind of in the background, and certain things will catch them, and they'd like to reference back to it of websites that you might bring up and stuff. So yeah,
for
totally.
sure. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a good list. But yeah, as far as like Ethereum Maxis serving people up, it was Sassel and somebody else I saw actually kind of serve up some Bitcoin people that said some things. I believe actually I have this tweet in the background. And while I find this tweet, I'm going to ask for, Rex Satoshi's opinion on the whole, this whole narrative. Well, I look for this. What's your opinion on the Ultrasound Money narrative? I think it's a little egotistical, but at the same time, it's fun.
It's trollish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they want to be every blockchain. I don't know. It's like like when I first got into blockchain, I was like believe it or not, Eric, don't hate me. I was like a Tron maximalist. I was like, Tron is it. It's better than Ethereum. Fuck Ethereum. I was just like so afraid to go and use Ethereum because of the gas fees, and I was like, I don't have money to lose on transactions. And then like you get on Ethereum, you're like, okay, it's not too bad. And then once everyone's on Ethereum making transactions and shit, then the ETH gas goes back up, and you're like, shit, now I need to go back to Tron. But it's just like everyone wants everyone to use the things that they're using. And it's just like, just be okay with people using other shit. Like, it's all right. Like, there's enough room for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe a little bit of Tron down there if you're okay with that. But it's just like,
if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like everyone wants to be a maximalist nowadays. It's just like you got to be diverse, man. You got to try some other things so you know what you're missing or know what you're not missing. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, thanks for that. All right, here, let me position this thing real quick. Go ahead.
I will quickly respond to that, if I may.
Yes.
Is being with Steam and then DLive, Steam, DLive, Hive, the fork, Justin Sun, Tron, I've honestly learned that being tribalistic is not the way, and being cross-platform and blockchain agnostic is valuable. In the same way that not being stuck to a rigid ideology is important if you really are interested in getting better. And listen, hey man, we got to be able to know about the other blockchains and be able to judge them. And a lot of people just blindly judge them. But if you're blockchain agnostic, you're just willing to listen and have a fair, best to your ability and unbiased opinion on this stuff.
Feel that.
Like, yeah, you can't know if yours is the best if you haven't like seen what everyone else has going on for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's fair to have an opinion after you've done that, but how many people share their opinion on stuff without having that knowledge?
Ooh, you cut me into the perfect segue, so I'm gonna have to do it. I just gotta do it. So this next segue is I move things around a little bit. This is in tandem. We're still on the sound money topic. This next few topics are kind of Ethereum and Web3 or whatever you want to call it. But this is going to lead into this SEC claim that was made earlier this week. But Bitcoin maximalists, again, they've been cheering in the streets about this and that Ethereum since the merge, saying that they're the better chain. And a lot of them like to make the point that Ethereum is now more vulnerable to 51% hacks because of the proof of stake, because you just need this many tokens to and for folks that don't know what is the best, I'm like, man, I need like there's somewhere, let's get you on my place real quick. There's somewhere you can go, probably can type this in, where you can see what Ethereum staking. I don't know if it's on DeFi Llama or not, but you can basically see, or maybe it's probably on Dune Analytics, but I'm not really good at navigating Dune Analytics. I need to give it more time. I just honestly haven't given enough time to like figure out how to navigate it better. But basically, you can see where the most Ethereum is being staked since the merge, and a lot of that Ethereum is being staked on Lido, and I think Rocket Pool, and it's Coinbase. It's like a lot of it. It's like Lido and Coinbase for like the vast majority of ETH. And so Bitcoin maximalists are making the argument that, is this what you guys really wanted? Now Coinbase and Lido basically control the market. You got two entities controlling everything. And that makes sense, right? You're like, dang, okay, they kind of got a point. But apparently Ethereum was that much more big-brained and crinkly-brained to a degree that we're not really used to. So what I found out through some readings, and I'll have to share, maybe I'll like attach these notes and stuff like that beneath the stream, and Eric will have in blogs and stuff. But what I basically found out is that Ethereum is a little bit more resistant to 51% hacks or attacks due to the merge, actually. And they have a few aces up their sleeve where even if somebody were to gain so many tokens that they get 51% of the network, the vast of the community of Ethereum is allowed to come together and say, no, that's not what we wanted. And like things are like sharded off into a bit different blocks. So there's ways that Ethereum now can like handle that stuff and like separate it off anyways. And so the community can come together and basically overrule the majority party as individuals. They're like, oh, that's just like a thing. So we can still come together and say no. And they can come together and they basically deplete that person's Ethereum. It's insane.
What?
Yeah,
They can vote to take all his money?
yeah, they like slash the fuck out of them. It's like ridiculous. I was like, whoa, like
God
so
dang.
It's like risky to do a 51%
This is like Game of Thrones shit.
Yeah, I was like, hold the front door.
You're fighting for the you're fighting for the throne. Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna send the mountain on you.
and it's really similar to what we were talking about in previous weeks, where I've made the points that the community in blockchain will come together, like in the case that you try to take over something like that, and they'll do something or they'll fork it, and that's what this is. It's a situation like, without saying it as eloquently again, look this stuff up, but they fork the network in a sense, and they slash the other person's Ethereum. and move forward with things, and it's like, yeah, so you can try these attacks, but you're gonna end up hurting for it. You don't really want to do that. You're just gonna waste a bunch of money and make things better for everybody. Like, yeah, that's kind of a crazy situation. So I'm like, yeah, Bitcoin maximalists don't get that. A lot of them are missing that. So I'll let you, before I get to this next thing, I'll let you guys kind of like breathe that in a little bit, because I'm like, that's a lot to take in. Like, I feel like not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, that's wild to me. I didn't expect. I mean, I guess that would be that's an interesting way to combat bad actors on protocols, is for the community to come together and say, okay, instead of one person saying, okay, we're gonna cancel this person, like fucking Andrew Tate. If it was like a bunch of people who were like coming together and saying, okay, we're gonna cancel this guy, then that would go over a little better than just one person being like, yeah, we're canceling.
Yeah, it's like what cancel culture is supposed to accomplish. That's what they tried to do.
Right.
Oh my goodness. But here, let me get back to this. Do you have a comment on that, Eric, before I get to this actual thing?
Man, that was interesting.
It's pretty cool stuff. But here's the next portion of this, which is Sassel.eth, who runs, what is this podcast? It's the Daily Gui. So if you want like all sorts of like big brain Ethereum knowledge, this guy has it. He's like the source of big brain Ethereum stuff on the blockchain. So it's like going up against a nicer version of Richard Hart in a debate. Like, he's nicer, but you still don't want to do it. So anyways, this Bitcoin maximalist says, if you want to have a voice in the Ethereum network, you need to stake 32 Ethereum, cost about $40,000 to $50,000. If you want to have a choice in Bitcoin network, you need to run your own node, cost about $200. One is controlled by the wealthy, the other by the people. I'm like, I mean, I guess yeah, a voice in Bitcoin, but what you really doing with that $200 hash? The fun thing about this is how Sassel then responds, you don't need 32 ETH to run a full Ethereum node. You should delete this tweet and then delete your account. Came back with some sass on him, Sassel. Oh my goodness. So they go into it a little bit more in depth, and basically it's just the case that, and this is in pair with the next topic that I wanted to bring up with, which was what this SEC claim, and I'll try to get that article on screen as well. But basically what Sass was saying here is that you don't need the full 32 ETH to run a node. You can run a node with less than 32 ETH. So obviously that's vastly cheaper. And then basically the guy ends up like, and this is part of that Bitcoin maximalist versus Ethereum thing that's been going on recently because, ultrasound money versus sound money. But the conversation basically switched to, well, why would you want to run a node that's not like producing, Ethereum for you, basically like not producing the blocks or whatever? Why would you want to, you're not going to get any ETH from this necessarily. It's not enough. So why would you want to have that voice in it if you're not actually earning
because people don't do things unless they're going to make a bunch of money, Oh, sarcasm, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, exactly. And so I wanted to pair that like right now because with that, the SEC. Did you guys see anything about the SEC claim on Ethereum in jurisdiction recently?
Yeah.
So would make it more of a security or less of a security, or that's
let me see if I can get this exact link out here. But basically, before I get a link, the SEC claims jurisdiction over Ethereum because they claim that more of the Ethereum nodes are clustered together in the United States. And so since more of them are clustered in the United States, then it doesn't matter where it's based or whatever. Like, like most of the time companies or whatever, a project like, well, we're based in the Cayman Islands. It doesn't matter if our storefronts are all United States. The company is based in the Cayman Islands. So the SEC is like, well, more of your nodes are clustered together in the United States versus the rest of the world. And so we have the jurisdiction of that's their claim thus far. This hasn't totally gone through or whatever. Here.
I'm laughing at your facial expression, Eric. You're like, what the fuck?
Eric expresses the correct response.
I'm like, okay, I need to just listen because wait a minute, this doesn't add enough.
I can see you doing mental gymnastics in your brain.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do the math. The whole, like if I can have like the pop up like the math like like I don't know, man. It ain't adding enough.
So here, I got the article up. Let me read through this just a bit. SEC's bizarre new claim about Ethereum may set dangerous precedent.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was worried about, the precedent they're trying to. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Because it's a weird type of ruling to try to say something like that.
It's just fucking dumb. It's like them saying, oh, if most of the Facebook users are in America, then we own Facebook.
Hold on. Scroll up. Look at that dude's face. That's all you need to know.
Gary Gensler.
Oh my God! Please scroll up. Look at his face, please. You have to.
Okay. Look at him.
Oh my goodness!
Look at that little tuft of hair on the top of his head, bro. Just shave it, bro. Just go with it. Just go bald. Steve worked for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I can't keep indulging you guys in this here. Off of Gary. Okay, so the fun thing about this and what Sasso was tweeting about the connection that I made between these two is like, the Bitcoin maximalists basically changed their argument to, oh, well, why would you want to run these nodes if you can't run a full node and get all this? And it's like, well, for things like this, honestly, to combat things like this on another level, like you already have the ability to slash malicious attackers. And then if they want to set a negative precedent like this, like, because this is a ridiculous claim, but if they want to say something like this, then it's like, how long does it take the community to be like, all right, look, this is what you can do. We can run nodes all over the place. Let's set up more nodes that aren't even full nodes and stuff like, or if you have someone in the other place, break them down basically. And let's just, if it's a numbers game that you want to play, then let's play the numbers game, basically. And I can see people going along with that type of stuff. I feel like that's the type of game that, I don't know. I don't feel like they don't get that that's what they're doing when they say stuff like this. But I'm like, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get really quickly. They're like, the rest of the world's like, oh, so we just let's make it so that they get it. And now it's like, but then with the SEC, do you really want that? Because they're trying to get that claim of jurisdiction. But if they make that type of ruling and like that actually becomes like, oh, this is like our law. This kind of what we push is like international law. What's to stop a bunch of validators, their nodes, to like go to some other just random ass country? Actually, let's make sure that this country over here is popping off, and then this new supercomputer world currency type of thing that previously, like maybe it goes to different hands that you really didn't want it to be in, like specifically. But it's funny outcomes potentially, but yeah, in general, dangerous type of claim from the SEC.
Let's hope it's a nothing burger. But yeah, I mean you gotta. I don't know. It's one of those things like, is that a realistic thing that you can even say, or is that something where people from other countries are like, shut up? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That seems pretty wild to me, hence my facial expressions.
I mean, fair enough.
Seems a little far out there, dude. A little bat boyish,
Yeah, they be getting that back. Yeah, to keep us moving through our list of wonderful topics today. The next one we covered was actually there's it's kind of on this whole legislation. We're like on the legislation run right now of things
Sure.
blockchain. This is the Stablecoin Bill, and I believe Rex Satoshi. I think you listed something about that in Discord. So, do you have any opinions on the Stablecoin Bill, or what'd you find from this? Am I incorrect in saying that?
Oh, I don't know what I shared, to be honest with you. I just share stuff, but what I know about
I call it
is
info
that,
dumping.
yeah, I just send interesting shit around to people. All that I heard about it was that they're trying to make it to where there's like 3 or 4 years before people can issue new algorithmic stablecoins, and they're making it where it's illegal for you to issue stablecoins backed by other assets, kind of. So basically, no more making stablecoins and shit. And also, along with that, I think this week some judge ordered Tether to show their backing of USDT. They wanted to see what assets are backing USDT. So it just kind of goes along with it.
Yeah.
I just think they're just the government wants to be able to say who does what, and I could see why they want to say who can make a digital dollar, which I mean, it's dangerous for random people to make a fucking digital dollar, and it's annoying because we have a bunch of them. And then another exchange actually is doing the same thing that Binance is doing with USDC and USDP, where they're making it to where you have to trade with BUSD instead of USDC. So I just think all that is just interesting. I want to know if it's like a regulatory thing that they're doing, to where the regulators are telling them to do that with USDC or whatever. Because I know, like this week, the CZ did an interview with Rand Newlander or something like that, basically about regulation and about some things that Binance is doing. And it just seems like Binance has been trying to be super, like, very, very, like, in step with regulatory laws and stuff, and I just don't understand why they're doing this with USDC exactly. Besides I want to say it's to increase the volume of BUSD, but I think it's wild. I think that we're getting different puzzle pieces of things. Now, we don't have the whole puzzle yet, but slowly they're trying to put this puzzle together.
It's part of being institutionalized, being part of the Bitcoin become part of the lexicon and the narrative is the big boys like Coinbase and Binance have to start playing by the rules. They can't be the rogue people anymore. You still have little pop-up things like, hey, I got to say at Hive, to where they got some algorithmic stable coins and they're non-KYC. You can create an account, you can trade coins to it without a KYC. You can earn 20% APR on the stable coins by staking it. Yeah, so you start off being the rebel waving the black flag, and then you start getting a name, and you start buying race cars and sponsorships, and you got to start playing by the rules, because now you got a big bullseye on your back. Yeah. You can't play the outskirts of the rules anymore. You have to, because there's a lot of countries with a lot of resources that can keep you in court for a while if they so want to.
Yeah. To make my statement of the stablecoin bill, to detract too much, is that what Rex Satoshi saying, it's an interesting bill. It's not finalized. Because I read a few articles about this earlier today just to get some understanding. And again, it's part of work for me. Actually, I have to be up on stable coins. But the bill's not finalized, and so as you were saying though, part of the bill is to make it so that people wouldn't be able to produce these algorithmic stablecoins for like 2 years. I believe it was just 2 years. Like a ban on them for that amount of time while they like probably figure out more regulation. Okay, it might never come back. That's the way things typically work. But again, within that we discussed stablecoins in a previous episode, but it's algorithmic stablecoins, and specifically, so like not ones that are backed by collateral. And most DeFi stablecoins are backed by collateral. They're over collateralized. In fact, if they're DeFi stablecoins, and so most stablecoins in DeFi are actually fine. In fact, here I'm going to show you guys this list. This is DeFi Llama, and so this first stablecoin is USDC. And this might be part of why Binance trying to gain some share on there, right? So the 3-day for Binance Smart Chain, 7% or 3% increase in the 7-day, 14 or yeah. But Binance, not doing bad. So I feel like maybe they want to battle with these big boys up here because it's been Tether and USDC for a long time. But USDC centralized, Tether centralized, BUSD centralized. All the top three are centralized. They're over collateralized, supposedly. We don't know as much about USDT, but these two are supposedly good to go. Binance is one of the most regulated crypto exchanges and entities in all of cryptocurrency. So they play by the rules, as Rex Dossi is saying. And, CZ's been transparent about that as well during their most recent interviews. But those top three are all centralized. And then we go into the decentralized ones. So number 4 on the list is DAI. Does DAI count underneath this new bill, which again is not finalized? So the bill would probably have to go through a few more revisions and stuff like that. Then they actually submit the bill, so it hasn't even been pushed forward yet or anything like that. But it's being drafted basically, and so it's new news and potential FUD on things. Honestly, like it's good alpha, but it's also potential FUD, especially when it's coming out like today and stuff. Like when that's
It doesn't have a Hive-backed dollar in here, does it?
It might. Oh, this is Ethereum. So I'd have to go to different chains. I went to the Ethereum chain right now.
You can do all, right?
Let me see if it lets me get all stable coins on this one. Hopefully, because I tried before and it gave me like Tron and stuff, and there we go. Yeah. So yeah, Hive would probably be down this list. I don't know where it's going to be.
Oh, it'd be pretty far down.
Yeah. There's some big boys. USDD is actually pretty far up here, but billions of dollars coming in.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, stable coins that are actually affected.
Money, number 12.
Yeah, dude,
I love it. I love it.
Because they survived. They had a lot of their collateral was in Terra Luna, in that ecosystem with UST and stuff like that, and they survived the UST drop. They were that strong because it's over collateralized for DeFi stable coins. DeFi worked to such an extent that Terra Luna happened with one of these DeFi stable coins, and it survived. That's wild. No news talking about that. Nobody talking about that. I'm like, dude, that's so strong. That's such a bullish case for DeFi stable, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, because that was a crazy drop. People lost a lot of money, and like this thing was around and they survived. So I'm like, bro, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, these ones. So top 3 are not affected by this bill. Regardless, DAI not affected by this bill because they're over collateralized, aka highly liquid. Then they're not affected by this bill, and there's still some determination, I'm sure, on some of their terminology that they used in presenting the bill. Saying this means that and whatever. But this is kind of from so far. This doesn't work. The one that really came into question, like a USDD would be one that does, because potentially, I don't know what they're backed by, honestly. This is the Tron one, and this is an actual algorithmic stablecoin. But the one in the top 5 that is algorithmic stablecoin is Frax. Frax does some algorithmic stablecoin stuff, and I believe I just read recently that they were like 92% though backed by USDC and 7.5% backed by their own FXS token. And so to be compliant with this, totally compliant, like number 1, they're still highly liquid, so maybe they already compliant, even though they're algorithmic stablecoin. And Frax is one of the biggest stablecoin and projects in all of DeFi. For people that don't know, they recently launched Frax Lend. They kind of dominate the Curve Wars situation. They have the most influence on Curve, and Curve is the DEX on Ethereum where you can do low slippage, like almost no slippage, stablecoin trades. And that's where Curve meets its bread and butter. So stable coins meaning not just USDC to DAI, but also ETH to Ren ETH, or I don't know if there is Ren ETH, BTC to Ren BTC, like that type of stuff. Those are considered stable coins if they're pegged to a specific coin. But that is Curve. and Frax is dominating that whole narrative. However, and this is the one that might actually be affected by a bill like this. In the top 5, these other ones, I'm not sure about Pax Dollar. I don't know enough about Pax, but USDD might come into question. I don't know enough about your Neutrino. Magic, Internet Money would not come into question. And it's like some people have probably never heard of this. I don't think Alchemix will come into question. I don't think Liquidity comes into question. I don't think SUSD comes into question. A lot of these actually pass the bar for being over collateralized. That's how, like, so it's like, yeah, it's a bill, but is it the worst thing? It's really not the worst thing, and it's going to take them probably over a year to finalize the thing to begin with. So, tis what it tis, do it too, in my opinion.
I guess my initial reaction is just anything that's truly decentralized isn't going to be affected by any law anyways, right? Like True. At the end of the day, if you can pull a CEO in front of a judge over something, then it's not that decentralized. So
I agree.
Yeah.
These are facts.
Well, it's hard for them to go after Bitcoin because they don't know who the fuck made it.
Also a fact. Moving on with a wonderful list of things. This is the more fun part of things. I'm gonna move. Well, I'll cover one of these topics. We'll just hop around it a little bit. I'll mention the Wintermute thing before I go into our ape coin, and I'll just briefly mention this Wintermute thing. So Wintermute is apparently what do they call them? Market maker. So entering a lot of funds into an ecosystem, help do that stuff. I basically saw it as like them being like a Poloniex of like Tron type situation. So I think they have their own exchange and stuff too. I need to do more Wintermute research. I was trying to find out as much as possible quickly, but I was like, I'm like 3 articles of the same thing, and I'm not going to keep reading these. But basically, they were recently partnered with Tron to be their market maker, and then all of I don't know, was it a week? Was it 3 days? Something like that. It was really short. A few days later, this Tuesday, there was a hack with Wintermute. Some went down, and let me get that full thing. Let me get that up here. But yeah, there was a. I'm sure I could just type in Wintermute hack. Oh, yep, there it is. I just typed in Wintermute. Hacked crypto market maker Wintermute has 200 million in outstanding DeFi debt. That's gonna affect your partnership.
Fuck.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Firm CEO describes the company as solvent. Oh, that's right. The CEO said they were still solvent, though. So, aka they still have the money. I imagine maybe it was off-chain then. They had some stuff off-chain, so even though they got hacked, it's not following the 160, changing numbers up, $1 million hack. The largest debt involves a 92 million Tether USDT loan issued by TrueFi.
What a terrible picture.
We're just roasting profile pics today.
Oh my god! And I believe that part of the reason this one, like, other than it was millions of dollars, I believe the hacker from this took the money and moved it to like Curve. Yeah, down here. The hacker sent $111 million to Curve's 3 pool, with some suggesting that this was done to avoid stablecoins being frozen by issuers, Tether and Circle. So Curve's 3 pool is basically a mix of it's how they make their 3 curve token, and it's like a mix of DAI, USDT, and USDC for this one stable coin. Basically, that's what makes up that one stable coin. Without that's what I read that they're saying. They're basically saying this hacker took the stuff, moved it over there quickly, so now it's this other token, and it's almost like people are tracking the person basically, but at the same time, like, the tokens, it's like you can't stop the curve, the three curve token, because it's a decentralized token behind a DAO. So and I don't know if they have a way to just pause the transaction. It's just, I don't know. It was an interesting move. So we'll see how this all works out. This just happened Tuesday, so that's yesterday. It's not uncommon for crypto market makers and trading firms to carry debt owed to projects in course of billions of dollars with daily trades. For example, Alameda, yeah. So the debt is not unheard of, and this move is wild. But yeah, just another hack, another day in crypto, another hack, and to the new partner of Tron. Figured you guys would like that because the Tron relation. So,
no comment.
that's for you. You're welcome.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. 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 Any comments from you, Satoshi? The laughter might do it justice. That might just be fine.
That's it for me. Just the laughs.
Cool. All right, moving into the more fun, some of these more fun topics. Because I know I'll get like technical and that on topics. This one's a little bit more fun. ApeCoin. This is more of like a analysis type situation, but also this information just from the heading is headline is enough to give you a little bit of insight on the ApeCoin ecosystem and what's happening. ApeCoin eyes $10 ahead of staking. Could this be a bullish catalyst? So for those that are not aware, there's going to be staking for the Ape. Maybe there's for the coin too. I'd have to read down actually, but I know for the NFTs, and you have to like have like a certain amount of coins or whatever the heck to stake this stuff. But regardless, if history were to repeat itself, typically when a project has some type of staking mechanism coming up, aka you're locking more tokens or locking an asset, it's a little bit bullish for that project. And so that's, other than the price of ApeCoin already having been a little bit bullish lately, then it's got this potential catalyst. And so that's what people are looking at with ApeCoin.
I hear that they also have a token unlock. They're trying to like time it at the same time, kind of trying to like time staking and the unlock at the same time. So you'll want to be careful about that. But I think ApeCoin is an interesting play, just because all the metaverse stuff they have there. I don't know if you guys paid attention to those little like demo test alpha things they did. They had a lot of users on a web browser at one time in their little what is it, the other D metaverse.
The other side.
Other side, yeah. Okay, they had a lot of users on.
No, you got to say it like the other side. Sorry.
From a web browser. I think that's pretty solid. But
yeah,
when you have other things like staking ApeCoin and shit going on, it's like it's more than just a metaverse and more than just people playing a game going on.
Facts is facts. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I do think of all the NFT, like again, NFT projects are gonna come and die and stuff like that. There's gonna be a few survivors. They already had great marketing. The marketing was fantastic. If people know anything about NFTs, they probably know Bored Apes, and they might not even know the name, but they're like considering NFTs apes. That's how well it's like the comparison of somebody being like, "What's a dog to you?" and people be like, "A golden retriever," or like a lab. Like people like imagine certain types of dog. It's like that type of like, oh, that's of course this thing is like they see a Bored Ape, they're like, of course that's an NFT. It's like that type of recognition from their marketing. And so if any of these NFT projects are going to survive the bear market, I believe it's probably the one that could do all sorts of crazy things that they were actually supposed to do. So yeah, that much more bullish for the. I mean, they got more going than like a Yuga Lab situation, like the CryptoPunks folks, right? They got more going than that crowd, because I think that's more so about like being first versus this being I'm like, is Yuga Labs the same? I don't know, whatever. Yeah, there's just more development happening in the Bored Apes ecosystem than in like a CryptoPunks or something else, and that's another blue chip. All right, moving on with our next fun topic. It's the event, and this will be a quick one because this is like it's a little bit more technical. And I just wanted to mention some of these ones as we wrap it up here. I wanted to mention as really cool things that are happening in blockchain and kind of like just updates for folks because it's good to know. Like as Eric was saying, I've been out of the game a little bit, don't know what's happening, this and that. Well, these are some things that are happening, and if you're looking to trade or whatever, maybe they help you make those decisions. I don't know. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but the more you know, the smarter you are, right? Hopefully, whatever. This one is about Cardano. So we're moving on to the Cardano topic, and this is for folks that don't know. I think it's this week, actually. Is it this week? Cardano's highly anticipated Vassal hard fork. Woo! Another update to Cardano. What do it mean? So confirmed for September 22nd, Cardano is sometimes scrutinized because its smart contract capabilities are seen as lagging behind Ethereum and other layer 1 blockchains with their thriving decentralized finance communities. Although that's kind of just like an old narrative where Cardano is actually starting to pick up in DeFi for those Cardano heads out there, as much as Alex Becker likes to drag them. Unlike Ethereum, which uses account-based model rather than like a bank's, Cardano is based on the unspent transaction output system associated with Bitcoin. A way to calculate, basically, it does things after a transaction happens instead of like doing it during or before. Was the biggest thing. Vassal changes to the Cardano ledger will allow inputs of UTXOs, which is the unspent transaction output. Again, there's a lot of technical stuff to be used in scripting contracts without spending them. So again, that's Vassal's changes to the Cardano ledger will allow inputs of unspent transaction output to be used in scripting contracts without spending them. It just sounds like a saver, kind of like, oh, this is how we make things cheaper for this blockchain. I'm going to put it like in layman's because I'm like, that's a lot of technical language even for this. This kind of heavy, folks. It's just making things cheaper and making things cheaper and lighter on the blockchain. And if you did use Cardano at all, it is kind of like sad to like use the blockchain and be like, why'd they take so much of my AEA for that? Like, it hurts. Oh my God, they take too much. This is something that it needs for DeFi to actually evolve on Cardano. And that's what's happening. The scaling upgrade will streamline the process of sharing information about newly created blocks among network participants by ensuring the blocks can be propagated across the network well within 5 seconds after their creation, according to a blog post. And that's that for the Cardano segment. I'll also add that Charles Hoskinson recently, Cardano basically has some stuff that helps it defend against 51% attacks as well. I just wanted to throw that in there as like a last little sauce for folks, because Bitcoin maximalist is coming for everybody's throat right now. They're just like, you're not Bitcoin. Who are you? Yeah. How'd you guys like that technical jargon? It's fun, right?
It would be hard to pay me care about Cardano. I cannot stand it. I don't get it
my goodness. Yeah.
I have no opinion on Cardano. I am neutral on Cardano.
I'm glad that they're updating their blockchain so that they can be more useful for Africa or whoever wants to use it,
Yeah. This is what I'll say about Cardano before we move on to the next topics, which start to get a little whatever and stuff. But I feel like Cardano is working on a lot of, they've for a long time been working on scalability issues and trying to make things more user-friendly. Like, they recognize that they're not, and that they're not also developer-friendly, but that they're trying to work, solve these type of things. And when they do go after audiences, they're going after these, most people compare Cardano, Africa, they're trying to solve issues there. And to me, that means that maybe Cardano will be one of the blockchains that fixes or works on the issue of wallets in cryptocurrency soon. I know CZ was speaking, I believe, with Crypto Banter this week, and they were like, "Oh yeah, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges of blockchain?" And we've mentioned this on the show before. CZ seems to think that it's wallets.
And I think definitely agreed with us.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, true. Well, we were just saying that, and so he's like, man, my focus is on wallets, keeping regulated and making wallets more thing. And I just, I don't know why. Maybe there's some reason hidden behind me reading other documents, but I feel like Cardano is the type of project that would also try to solve that for its community and make that a little bit more accessible. As time goes on, I don't see it happening immediately, and at the pace of Cardano, that's going to be 5 years from now. But it's going to be an awesome wallet.
I mean, High's been talking about that forever too, or at least making account creation easier. There's when you're talking true decentralization, real progress is hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, facts is facts. Let me move us on to our next topic. Which is the sandbox. So we're starting to move. There's a few other fun ones. A lot of this is NFTs and Gamfi for these next few topics and stuff. I got a few that found their way in there that you'll see in a second. But first, I guess I would just ask you guys: have you guys been playing any Web3 games at all, recently, or what's your or have you ever played the sandbox also? Oh.
I haven't. I bought a little bit of Decentraland. What is it? Mana or like I bought
sand
some
for
sand.
sandbox. Yeah.
I bought some sand. I bought some, what's the Decentraland one? You know, like
Yeah,
Mana.
that's a mana. Yeah, you're right.
I bought a little bit of that. You know, I haven't got into it. Bitfiend's been trying to get me in for a while, and admittedly, like for the longest time, I thought you needed a VR headset to even try it. And they're like, no,
you get in there and browse it.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, things can be kind of intimidating sometimes, but it seems fun. And like, you know, people make fun of it, but like as far as the graphics and stuff, but it's like, yo, we made fun of Minecraft when it first came out too, and then people realized what it was all about, and then like people made fun of Roblox, and people make fun of everything. So, you know, so what? I think it's pretty interesting what they're building though. It's cool, man. It's like I said before, you know, we're all kind of betting on protocols and to see like different things doing different projects and trying their own way and learning from each other. And dude, yeah, no, this is gonna be fun, man.
Yeah.
I you know, obviously I used to play NFT games more than I do now, but I want to get into Decentraland and stuff. And I saw, was it Decentraland that has like an in-game thing?
Wait, what do you mean by in games? There's tons of games, well, depending on what people have. So.
Yeah. Sorry, like there was specifically a video I watched where it was something with it. I think it was a Decentraland game, to where it's like within the game and it's like a Tron game almost, like they, in the sense of like the Tron movie.
Yeah, know. Potentially.
They have a couple games inside of Decentraland that I think you can play.
Yeah, it all just depends on what people decide to do with that land and like the level of developers that are working, you know, with them, which is really cool that you can change up your parcel and do that level of creativity. I don't know what it takes to transform a parcel into those type of things, like to make it more game-like, or to like, you know, like there's like what's the casino that's over there, the you know, Alpha Angels and
DC Games
and Biometa. No, you have DC Games. Okay, yeah, like that type of stuff. I don't know what it takes to integrate that level of stuff, but it's all possible over there. And the same thing can be said for the sandbox. I have this article up here, so I'll put this on screen for you guys to check out this little update. So bringing this up because Sandbox is a big game again. One of these metaverses. It's very cubular, but they have, you know, deals with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has his own metaverse. The Smurfs, like everybody. Like if you think the mana and the Decentraland is crazy, the amount of businesses and stuff like that have land. And the sandbox is buku right there. It's insane. Everybody has it. All the exchanges have land. All the video games have land. Atari, Nintendo, like all these people have land in the sandbox. Sega's and like everybody has land in the sandbox. It's crazy. It's like what? Oh. It's just like what? And so they've been doing these little seasons where you can participate, like run around the game. So you had to have you download a little game engine client.
I cry when I hear about Sandbox because I fucking rage sold all my sand after I couldn't buy the fucking land ICOs. They had like 8 ICOs in the summer, or not ICOs, but they were
more expensive than I thought they were going to be.
And I was trying to buy them, and I just like couldn't get a transaction through. And it made me so mad. I rage sold all my sand before the pump, and the rest is history.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough one to make. It's fun. I'll say that if I had a computer, like number one, if I had like a VR headset to like connect with it, I'm sure I'd be in there that much more. But the level of creativity with things that you can do in the sandbox, because I played in the last whatever these seasons are called or whatever. No, maybe it was the first season. Maybe I missed this season. But basically they have you go around and they make challenges and stuff like that for you to do. Basically explore the world. Like you go to this game type that's been created in there, and you're going through all these portals that shoot you to different worlds and stuff like that. And there's, you know, all sorts of, you know, games and icons that you actually recognize and stuff around. And NFTs that are blue chips on the walls and like their galleries and stuff, but it's really cool. And what I liked the most about it again was the level of creativity that you could do within a world, because like they have like, it's kind of like how Decentraland you have parcels, but in Decentraland with the parcels, you are like, you know, you can walk from your parcel right to somebody else's parcel, and it's like, you know, I mean, it's like walking across the grass, and like you're just walking all over parcels and stuff like that. With this one so far, what I've experienced at least, and like they haven't released everything, like, you know, you can just go crazy around to anybody's stuff and whatever the heck. But it seems like a lot of it's going to be controlled with like portals going to people's things. and so it's a little bit more sectioned off like that. And so you can have like your portal, like it could be like part of the game. It's like you're walking around, and then you see some portals, and it's like, okay, this portal goes to like Snoop Dogg's world. The portal next to it, like, and these ones are actually next to each other in the sandbox. But there's like Snoop Dogg's place. Next to Snoop Dogg is like Skrillex and the Smurfs and the Walking Dead. Are like all in the same little area, like right next to each other, like all their portals. And so if you go inside of one of those portals, then you get transported to the world, and you can play whatever game styles that they created in the world. And that depends on how big the parcels are then for the world that they bought. And what I really liked about it was, other than that, you know, you can build things and people can jump around and, you know, exploring these crazy worlds with like caves and water and all this stuff, is that they had mechanics where one of them was like a race type thing, and they were like, okay, walk to the edge of the map. When you walk to the edge of the map, it basically flipped the entire screen of the game. So like normally you're just walking around like you normally would, and it flipped the screen of the game and made it kind of like you were doing a old school scroller type of format, like a Mario type of jumping thing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is so cool, because it still fits like the entire, but like the physics that they had for that to happen. I'm like, this is really cool that they like let you have this much creativity. So I can see why Panda Pops is always in there. Craft and stuff. If folks don't know, Panda Pops is like now a like ambassador working at Sandbox, but she started off just covering all sorts of NFT projects. So sky's the limit, and they allow you to craft items, and that's how she got her start. So try it out. But yeah, wanted to point that out because cool game, new season. So opportunity for people to earn and stuff like that. Explore more of the sandbox. I think Walking Dead is available this time. Snoop Dogg's place is available this time, and I think the Smurfs. So that whole area. I don't know if Skrillex is available. And then something about V Empires. So all sorts of stuff. And if you haven't experienced one of these metaverses like this, I would suggest going in there and checking this one out, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I actually was fine logging in there and doing it like every day to get their little challenges. Cool. Any final statements on that one? Moving on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. No, just kidding. Oh no, I hate when that goes across my screen. Yeah, the next topic that I wanted to cover, this is like, I'm not even gonna pop up an article on this because I just thought it was interesting and kind of got out of place in our list, which is just a crypto ruble. Yes, they are working on a crypto ruble. Eric was like asking earlier, like, I wonder how that ruble's doing. So while we're talking about stable coins and this and that, crypto ruble is in the works. And what I found most interesting about this is not just that they're doing crypto ruble, but that for the last few months there's been this conversation, and we already have synthetics or SNX, you know, that whole ecosystem that does synthetic assets on the blockchain, and Terra Luna, like their whole ecosystem used to try to do that type of stuff too. But people have been talking about, you know, the euro and all these other assets, and they're being stable pegs to that, why they're and this is definitely leading to that. Like, I mean, you know, like if nothing else has proven itself from what we talked about, this should definitely kind of be an indicator of that. So I wanted to mention that. Next fun one we have, because I'm going to start rolling through these, is GTA to Web3. Yeah, I said it. GTA to Web3. What do it mean, Smurf? What do you mean GTA to Web3? You can't be saying stuff like that. There's too many GTA fans in the world. Let me get you guys this specific article. It's basically one of the co-creators of Grand Theft Auto, who is creating their own metaverse. I think it's called the Universe. And I'm going to pop that over here for you folks to see on screen. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto co-creator is joining Web3 in the metaverse. Grand Theft Auto creator backs Web3 gaming studio in $7.6 million round. Has backed gaming studio Random Games. Along with Jones, the round was co-led by Resolute Ventures and Asymmetric, and featured participation from Ignia, Two Punks Capital, ID 345, and Polygon. Yes, Polygon. According to a release on Tuesday, the valuation was not disclosed. Jones will also act as an advisor to the company. Random Games, a blockchain game studio funded in September last year by Tony Harmon, who led executive productions at Nintendo and DMA Designs, the gaming studio behind the Grand Theft Auto series, and Wythe Ridgway. Yes, Ridgway, who has worked on Star Trek and Pirates of the Caribbean. It's creating a community-owned gaming franchise named Universe, which will allow developers and fans to use in-game assets as they please and to make their own games, comic books, or even T-shirts, said Random Games. Those who do so can also sell their creations and keep the money. So they're also giving you the rights. And I think this little quote that they had sums it up perfectly. Imagine if Marvel released characters, art, and 3D models and told fans to go make and profit from their fan films and comics, said co-founder Tony Harmon. That's how big this idea is. We have a team of world-class writers, artists, and developers building the Unioverse, and are basically giving it away. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool one. In terms of like where the direction that gaming is going, stuff like that. People are like, oh, gaming and NFTs are dead. I'm like, this is an NFT project. It don't look dead. They got some pretty big names coming, heavy hitters. Ridgeway, Grand Theft Auto, like, you know, that's like Ridgeway and Rockstar. They're combining. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening. It was people from those, but people that have left those, so they know what they're doing in the industry. So
I think people should pay attention to this. Like, you got to pay attention when people who've made massive successful games are moving into Web3.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they know how to
extremely
get the
interesting.
users.
Yeah, wanted to make sure we covered that because that's a hot one. Keeping it moving because we got more game stuff. Let's get to these last ones. Also, putting their hat in the ring is Bandai, Namco, and Sega eyeing blockchain games, and so they had actually mentioned some things earlier during toward the tail end of the bull run, where they were like, yeah, we're interested in things, but our customer base just maybe isn't ready for it yet. So we're kind of just waiting for them. We don't want to get canceled for pursuing this. But when we're reading through this, we have shared a vision about blockchain at the executive level. They don't want to change that policy. They really understand the future adoption of blockchain. They're not thinking about, just the revenue. They want to create the next future of gaming. And so this is what these Bandai Namco, Sega, and Square Enix executives are thinking about. In terms of blockchain gaming, those are it's like it's to the level. There's this good with how many gaming companies aren't going to be involved, and at that point, you're starting to get very few that aren't actually on board, and what are they going to do? So really big news, I thought, and worth throwing the mention in. Any take?
For me, as far as companies that, I feel that you can't. It's a fine balance. Excuse me for kind of sputtering a little bit. I'm trying to find the right words. With the NFTs and the economy, and you're trying to do it, you got to be tactful because people are really oh, it's all about money. It's all a grift and stuff like that. But if you can actually make a great game and allow the NFTs to harmonize with that and maybe make a great game better or make a great game more playable or encourage players to want to play it more or grind more. There's currently all kinds of incentives on different games for people to want to play it more. And it's all a balance on that. So especially when it's not play to win and the NFTs just enhance the game, and for names like that to come out and say, look, we're exploring options and not just integrating, but we're talking making completely new games with that capability. That's cool. Again, just more legitimacy.
Anything from you, Rack?
I think I'm more excited about gaming companies getting in than banks and fucking institutional people.
Yeah.
It's just we need I've always believed that gamers have a natural affinity for digital assets, and I think that I still think that what will lead to mass adoption will be something that's entertaining and cryptocurrency and something that's fun, as opposed to just holding money and making more money. It'll be something that is kind of like a hybrid. You have these digital characters that are also assets that are tradable and redeemable. You get access to different experiences online with them. So I think that's exciting. That excites me way more than the NASDAQ or Fidelity and Charles Schwab getting into crypto, but just a small time gamer. So I'm excited about that type of stuff.
No, feels that. It does hit my heart. I'm like, no, I feel this. As a gamer, you know if you a gamer, stop hating. Totally agree with that. I wanted to let that segue into my next thing, which move things around a little bit because one of them is more price appropriate or talkative. But here is our next NFT project thing, because we've been talking about. I mean, it's Web3 games, but also NFTs at the same time. And the next thing is on Rare. So I believe this actually just launched recently, and so I wanted to bring some opportunities for people at the end of the stream that you can actually do some of these things right now if you wanted to and be early to the party. This is some true alpha we dropping. But on Rare, which is the world's first 3D Foodverse game, now live. 3D Foodverse games. So it sounded like almost like one of those like tycoon type of games almost. But you're basically you're doing actions and stuff like that in the game to get certain ingredients. You need the token to get the ingredients, and you can do this all from the game. And and you use the ingredients to make different dishes or foods. And it's his own metaverse type of thing happening here. Excited Foodverse games on Rare. On Rare is an innovative project which enhances the game industry, attracting food lovers worldwide. Users can connect to the Foodverse, thereby representing and bringing the delicious food to the blockchain platform. In depth, it is basically a food metaverse which enables NFTs and P2E. Thus, it rewards players for preparing their favorite dishes in Web3 space. Further, the native token of On Rare project is ORare token. Now the entire gaming platform engages the user's attention with interesting NFT ingredients, so it directs the players in such a way that stake the tokens for farming ingredients, shop at the farmer's market, play games at the playground, and to explore the virtual food experience in the Foodverse. Yeah,
I like it.
Just when you thought it was safe in the water, another metaverse. But I think it's kind of a cool idea. I would play around with it. I like the idea. And if it's, depending on how it's handled, it could end up being like this dictionary of a bunch of different recipes online. And that would actually just be really cool if you have this glossary of tons of different recipes that people they play the games make. But you play a game and maybe you immortalize grandma's whatever recipe that you wanted to share. It's immortalized on this blockchain now. That's kind of a cool idea, and it's the top one. It's just it's moving that into Web3.
And from what it looked like was you got a farming game, you have a marketplace game to where you play the market, and then you can use that to do other things in a game. That seems all pretty time consuming. a time drain,
Yes it does. Any feels?
Stardew Valley on the blockchain, I'm in.
Any feels, Satoshi? What does this make you feel?
Makes me feel it seems I don't know, a Candy. No, that ain't Candy Crush. Oh, that's not the game I'm thinking.
Those kind of games, though, right?
It has that type of aesthetic a bit.
The mobile type games,
though Candy Crush looks crazy last time I saw that.
And making food and then giving it to whoever ordered that food or something like that. People love those types of games. I think it's good that they're making something for people like that.
Especially if that's a kind of little time suck game you can just pop into on your phone.
Yeah.
As you're waiting at the doctor's office or something like that.
Yeah.
Those kinds of
on the screen and pass some time.
Yeah. I feel it's got potential. I'm excited to see this one goes. I will keep my eye on it. I might jump in as soon as possible, honestly, because it's if it's live, you can just jump in there. It doesn't cost you any money to you do some playground whatever the heck. So then I can stake these tokens. I'm probably gonna I like doing these things early and just having them work in the background. So I'll probably do that and check this out.
That'd be something to where for me, I always felt it's really valuable content to record yourself checking something out for the first time, and then especially if the team is very interested on that kind of information, you can say, look, this is where the friction was, this is where I didn't understand this, this is a real reaction to me of trying to figure this, being interested and wanting to participate, and these are my friction points. I think that's valuable. And then for something, if you had a project like this and you said, "Hey, man, this is me checking it out," and you did a little recap of checking it out, like I might do something like that later tonight or tomorrow or something like that.
That's my plan.
I'm kind of interested. Yeah,
that's my plans, and that's usually what stops me from like jumping in. Like I hear about so many blockchain games and stuff like that, and like sometimes I want to jump right in. But usually, what stops me is I do want to stream it to some degree because like I can look back at like our YouTube playlist of like videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, you can go back like 5-6 years of me being like, we're gonna try to earn $5 a day. And I'm like, we're earning 10 cents, but it's okay. It's a marathon. And now it's like, no, we pulling that even in the bear market. But it's from doing things like this and just keeping up on them and trying them all. And like, again, it's cool to document that journey. And it's cool for your relationship with the development team to help them make it better. And then it's cool to just go back and see and be like, oh, I remember, like, I go back far enough. We talk about Splinterlands, like, way back when, like, in certain streams and stuff like that. And that's crazy. And you're like, wow. Remember this? This is so funny. We were talking about, you can earn from social media posts or something like that. It's really cool to go back to those things. So, yeah, that's the only thing that slows me up on these. I'll definitely be checking this out. What else we got on this list? Oh, my goodness. This next topic was Gamfi. What are the best... And there's only like 2 more topics. Best GameFi tokens to get after fundraising jumped 135% in August. So what do it mean? Not necessarily the tokens price, their prices went up 135% in August, but that companies or VCs investing in these different projects went up. The fundraising they were getting went up 135% in August. That's saying something about GameFi, blockchain games, and stuff like that. And so here's a list that covers some of the biggest ones to look out for.
Let's see what they say in September in a down market. Even worse. So
they say to look out for Steppen, which I'm like, that's like the most like bad tokenomics model that I think in the pack, but
they calling it a Ponzi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, this maybe they're, but like, hey, maybe they actually have some type of plan for things, or they just want to like do. They just if you have, this is my thing with projects like that. You got money coming in, figure it out. You have that much money coming in, you have time to figure it out, or to hire some actual developers in blockchain to figure that, help you really develop a sound ecosystem, especially when you got that much money coming. You got millions coming in. You can figure it out and make it a better system for your players. But Steppen on that list, anticipating that it could at least reach $1, and it's down at 66 cents at the time of the writing of this, or September 14th. And so, yeah, if that goes up, that's a nice little gain for you. And that's kind of how they wrote these, like, the ones that got the most money, and then where are they at right now, and what's their potential in the next month or so. How much could they kind of grow? So Steppen is one to look out for. Via this article, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Next up, we have Gala Games. This is one that I actually do DCA into a little bit here and there. It's gotten nice and cheap now, so maybe it's time to get a little bit more Gala. But Gala at September was trading at 4 cents. They said all-time high, it was 82 cents in November 21. And this just has a lot of things going for it. It's another one of those Snoop Dogg affiliated projects and whatnot. And there's a lot of stuff going on at Gala if you're not familiar with Gala Games. They also have some of the best games, I think, looking in the space that are actually playable and stuff. Like Spider Tanks is probably one of the most polished blockchain games out there. Okay, love, thank you. But yeah, Spider Tank's probably one of the most polished ones. It's also very esports. Like it's a MOBA, and it's a competitive and good esports MOBA, in my opinion. And the last one on this list is IMX, Immutable X. Was at 89 cents at the time of this, September 14th, and had an all-time high of around, I don't think this is, if you're on the blockchain, usually it's a little bit higher, but it says $9.52. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it around $10 or $11 at some point, but whatever. We argue these numbers all day. But regardless, bullish on this one. So, any takes on these tokens?
No opinion.
no opinion.
No, I'll be honest, no opinion.
I dabbled with some Gala. My opinion on GMT is that it might be unpopular, I don't know, but I think you earn GMT in the game by walking around.
By stepping.
history shows that you should not buy tokens that you can earn for free. I think you guys might agree with that.
Yeah, don't buy the native tokens.
Because people will earn them for free and then sell them for money.
Yeah.
So that's what you're supposed to do. So just be careful about that. I would, and I mean, it definitely could pump, a little bit, but it's just that it's just not sustainable because people are getting it for free. So what are you going to do with something that someone gives you for free? You're going to try to probably take your money out on it.
See, so I would have to look into their system a little bit more, but I feel like the take, like, at least for me, the selling point with maybe the GMT and the stepping thing would be that with markets down, like IMX and Gala, there's not much. Maybe Gala, maybe you get something with Gala, but with IMX, there's not much that you can, like, maybe buy some cards on Gods and Chain with, but people are going to adjust the card prices on Steppin, or I'm pretty sure like part of like buying the shoes might be with that token. And so if it's one of those situations where like, oh, it's cheaper to buy these shoes that were previously $1,200, but people could make their ROI. Most people are like, I'll make my ROI in 2-3 weeks or something like that. Well, if it's cheaper to at least experience the thing, and the market's, like, maybe it's your chance to play around with this. Again, I still think it's, I don't know enough about the tokenomics for me to like be like, but if it was your type of thing, you like NFTs, you like blockchain, you need something to motivate you to maybe get out there and get exercise. Maybe it's not the cheapest or not the most expensive shoe to get you out there and going.
I bought a Gala music node, I think earlier this year. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's really cool that Snoop Dogg's working with them. Snoop Dogg's awesome. And he's bringing in, like, I think he brought in Ice Cube and some other I don't want to say underground, but some lesser known artists. And those, they're like, you can buy their songs, they sell out pretty fast. I haven't got a chance to buy any music actually, but Gala also has film nodes.
Yeah, saw that. Gala doing it like, for the nodes.
Yeah, they're doing a lot with entertainment. I think it's pretty cool. And I think Gala is made by the same people that made Zanga, which was like a really popular like web gaming, gambling sites and stuff like that. So I mean, they were really early coming in. So I mean, you can imagine what's going to go on with all these other like prestigious gaming companies coming in, on the backside. So like I said, I'm excited for most things gaming. IMX, Immutable, there's a game called Guild of Guardians coming out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but it's like kind of like a Diablo, like a dungeon scroller.
I forget what my assets are in this game. I did like something early in this game.
Yeah, I have a guild, and I think
that's right. I got the guild. I did not get a character. That's right. Me and you were like buying at the same time. I remember talking to you while buying.
Yeah. Those guilds got pretty profitable for a little bit there. I think the price went up on them when the bull run was going on, but I think the only thing I've seen on IMX you can do now is you can buy NFTs on IMX on Immutable, which is pretty cool. It's just like low gas, and it's almost free to buy whatever you want to buy and stuff. So if you're looking for a cheap place to buy NFTs, not saying that you're going to make a lot of money, but because I definitely have not made a bunch of money on IMX NFTs. Yeah, but it's there for you to play around with.
Yeah, my IMX experience has just been enjoying the game. So like again, it's where Gods Unchained is. It's like nothing gas fees and stuff like that. It is that ZK roll up situation. It is that first scaling solution for Ethereum that was actually like hit the market. And yeah, it does what it's supposed to do. For the token, I believe, I can't remember if like staking's already out for it or whatever, but more utility coming for the token, the IMX token itself, which is I think just like the governance token. And there's supposed to be other ways that you can also earn it, from like trading and playing games and stuff like that in the future, which makes it more inflationary in my opinion. I'm like, I don't know if I need that, but whatever. Regardless, they gave me a bunch of free tokens, and I can use those tokens to buy cards whenever I want to. So I'm a happy man. I'm not like spending them all, but like on occasion when it's like, oh, this card is really good, that card might go up in value. I'm like, maybe I'll spend a few IMX. It's not gonna hurt me. It's gonna that person, you can't buy it. How are you getting it? Yeah. So it's nice to be early. I just got it for being early and like spending like. I was like, oh, how much people are spending on Pokemon cards? I can spend like $10 over here or whatever the heck. And it paid off like 20 for like what everybody else was trying to accomplish with their Pokemon cards. It paid off that much, and I've already spent a bunch of it. So.
Yeah, buying gaming assets on the blockchain I think is one of the most underrated like wealth generation things that's going to go on in our generation.
Well, it's like that and airdrops, because like, you know, again, there's still some airdrop opportunities I want to mention at the end of this. Where like the Arbitrum still airdrop opportunity. So like, you know, do that guild.xyz, try to get a part of that Arbitrum airdrop. From guild.xyz, you can also find information on Optimism airdrop. I think they're supposed to be doing another round of airdrops. And so like, this is a great way to get into crypto and do stuff. Like even if you have like $4 or $5, you do some of these things sometimes, especially on these roll-up layers where things are super cheap anyways. Open up some smart contracts and do some stuff and get like the free $100 or whatever they're gonna just send out to you, which is like ridiculous. You know, because that's how it works sometimes. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Yeah. Let me keep it rolling. I think I got like one last thing or so maybe. You were about to say?
I think having airdrops for every episode, having like a little rundown of airdrops at the end or something is a cool little thing for the show notes and stuff. Yeah, totally.
Cool. Make sure we get that in there. Yeah, so I do have one of those toward the end here, actually. The only other things that I want to touch on were like, I was like, oh, Axie Infinity had their World Cup apparently recently. Like, what deaf ears that fell upon, honestly. I wanted to mention it as like, I know you guys have all played Axie Infinity in the past. Have you been playing Axie recently? Have you played it since the new updates where they made like Axies rentable and stuff like that, or like you get the free Axies for people? Have you played since then?
I haven't played since the Axie sisters started becoming a thing on Twitter. That's pretty much when I stopped. That was my out. That was my selling. Like that was like your top indicator. Yeah, that was my top indicator, bro. I'm out. When the Axie sisters started doing their like synchronized dancing on Twitter, I'm out, dude. I'm out. At the same point when like my dad starts asking about Bitcoin, I'm out, bro. I'm out.
It's not cool anymore. We're out.
I'm out. I'm shorting it, dude.
That's a good take. Oh my god, poor Axie sisters. Yeah, it's just like
I blocked them on Twitter, dude. They creep me out.
It's like no more. Stop swaying. Stop.
You know what it is. I'll admit, I have some sort of phobia of mannequin heads. Not mannequins, just the heads.
like you guys can't all be doing this bob cut thing and just like the moving, and it's like
the uncanny valley, bro. No, I don't. It's like you guys like look like humans, but you don't quite look like humans, and you kind of creep me out a little bit. Just being honest.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, you know, sometimes things are a little too I don't know, call that mainstreamy. It's something, but. Anyways, that leads us on to my last two topics of the day. There was another fun one that I kind of want to throw in really quickly. I'll do it's more of a technical one. It was Litecoin. So Litecoin got some traction recently. Let me see if I can find this article title, and I'll just like read it across. Otherwise, I have to try to sum it up off the top of my head, off the dome. As my partner would say, what dome? But yeah, it's like Litecoin got a little traction. I think it's in China, I believe, where they just had like some good legislation go their way without like having this article in front of me. I'm like, I need the specific wording for it. But I got multiple words or multiple pages of saved articles here, and I'm not going to the second page. But yeah, Litecoin got some adoption in that sense, so something to pay attention to. Also, with the Ethereum merge taking place, Litecoin becomes, moves up the ranks in the proof of work chains. So that's something else to consider. Also, on the same tangent as that, with proof of work chains and moving up the chain since Ethereum's merge, Dogecoin becomes the number 2 proof of work chain. After the merge, because he was held behind Ethereum, and now Dogecoin, not Dogechain, but Dogecoin, because Dogecoin is proof of work, became the number 2 proof of work chain.
How does that? Isn't Dogecoin on Ethereum?
No, Dogecoin is its own blockchain.
Oh, okay.
It's like you can get like wrap Doge on other blockchains and stuff like that. And there's the Doge chain, which is off of Polygon, so part of the Ethereum ecosystem, basically. But Dogecoin itself is its own blockchain. It's its own layer 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So people, I think that probably helped after the Ethereum merge, because you can take all those miners and you can mine some Dogecoin with them if you really wanted to. Like, what do I do with these miners? Maybe I don't sell them. Maybe I just use them for Doge. So that happened. To wrap things up here, I'm gonna go to this last screen, and this is our type of, I mentioned the Arbitrum airdrop. That's still happening, folks. Go do that. Look up the Arbitrum airdrop and how to get active. But other than that, Optimism is doing this thing where they're giving away these NFTs for going around the Optimism ecosystem. I believe there's also an airdrop around this stuff, so this might be used for that. Right now they're saying these NFTs have no utility other than just being like a cool fancy thing. They're like, yeah, you were here early, you did these things. But yeah, these are, I don't know, I like doing stuff like this in blockchain, because, you know, if you want to sell them, you can sell them. But other than that, it's just like a cool, like, yeah, that was me, I was there, I actually got that thing. Yeah, it's rare now. It's mine. It's
yeah,
mine.
I was there before it was cool.
Yep.
Bow down.
Yeah, so this is for Optimism. This is a
Buy
layer
my shit for too much money.
Bro, yeah, I got this for free. Buy it for 1 ETH. No less. That really be how it is sometimes. But yeah, I think this is cool. It's cool that you get this opportunity. Again, I wanted to make sure I try to get available for this next Optimism airdrop, because they're doing another one. And if I can get an NFT in the process, then cool. I need to check out these blockchains anyways. That's all I have for you today. Still a long list. We covered a lot of topics.
Good one,
Try to
man.
narrow it down a little bit. You know, give a little my bedtime reading there.
Thank you for doing all that research and putting all that down for us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
It was really educational. I learned a lot today.
Yeah, thank you. I'll send all these to Discord and stuff like that, and you know, we'll try to make these links available to anybody who tunes in and watching later. And again, our goal with this show is not just to have this longer podcast, but also to cut up these topics into smaller pieces, which you can then digest on our now Twitter and YouTube. So yeah. Anybody want to say
chop it up on the old Twitter?
Any goodbyes or last comments from YouTube?
I think I did the last comments last time, so I'm passing it off to someone else.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ooh.
Well, I think a big topic for today was legitimacy. A lot of, you know, like that we've been fighting for it, and it's kind of be careful what you wish for. And so now it's a decentralization versus centralization on a lot of things. We're finding our way. A lot of progress is being made, and this is exciting. It's a fun time. True builders build in downtimes, man. The people that are still building and active right now they're the ones that are going to come out on top when things start hitting the fan again, and they will. We'll find a bottom. We'll find the collateralization, the accumulation phase, right? And eventually we'll find a basis for a bottom again, and go from there. It's going to happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Feel that.
So just support the ecosystems and protocols you support, and bet on those protocols. And yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun bull run. It's gonna be a real fun bull run.
It's gonna be really fun. There's a lot of things developing, and that'll come from all this new technology and people, you know, still building, as you said. But yeah, I'm gonna leave your words as last words for it, unless Satoshi wants to, like, you know, pipe in. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, he's like, nah, that's it. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. It's been Trustless Degens. We'll see you guys next week. We out.